আসিয়া শ্রী বৃন্দাবনে নাচে গৌর রায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌর চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌর চান হরি গুণ গান। বৃন্দাবনে তরুলতা প্রেমে কয়ে হরি কথা, বৃন্দাবনের তরুলতা প্রেমে কয় হরি কথা, নিকুঞ্জের পাখি গুলি, নিকুঞ্জের পাখি গুলি হরি নাম শুনায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান। গৌরা বলে হরি হরি, সারি বলে হরি হরি, গৌর বলে হরি হরি, সারি বলে হরি হরি, মুখে মুখে সুখ সারি, মুখে মুখে সুখ চারি, হরি নাম গায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান। হরি নামে মত্ত হয়ে হরিণ আসিছে তয়ে, হরি নামে মত্ত হয়ে হরিণ আসিছে দেই, ময়ূর ময়ূরী প্রেমে, ময়ূর ময়ূরী প্রেমে নাচিয়া খেলায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান। প্রাণে হরি ধ্যানে হরি, হরি বল বদন ভরি, প্রাণে হরি ধ্যানে হরি, হরি বল বদন ভরি, হরি নাম গে গে, হরি নাম গে গে, রসে গলে যায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান। আসিয়া যমুনার কুলে নাচে হরি হরি বলে, আসিয়া যমুনার কুলে গৌরা নাচে হরি হরি বলে, যমুনা উঠল এসে, যমুনা উঠল এসে চরণ ধোয়ায়, যমুনা উঠল এসে চরণ ধুয়ায়, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান, ঝুলে ঝুলে গৌরা চান হরি গুণ গান। আসিয়া শ্রী বৃন্দাবনে, আসিয়া শ্রী বৃন্দাবনে নাচে গৌর রায়, ঝুলে Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patit Pavan Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much to all the devotees for joining today. We have very, very good fortune to hear again, assemble together and hear the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Chaitanya Charitamrit, which is compiled by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. And we have the good fortune to have a discussion with His Grace Pran Govind Prabhu, who's been very kind to us, giving his association to all the New Orleans devotees. We would also like to welcome him today back. Today we are doing in Madhya Leela. We'll be studying Madhya Leela and also based on the compact Chaitanya Charitamrit overview. We will also be having a wonderful presentation by Gaurangi. So thank you so much everybody for joining. I'll request everybody to keep your mics on mute. So we will start with the presentation followed by discussion and question answers at the end. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpataru vishyakipa sindhave vichapatitanam pavanibhava vaishnavi. Yes, Mother Gaurangi, please begin.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
I'm going to share. I can't share my screen. So Gopal Prabhu, can you make that possible? Or Vrinda? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today on day 4 of our 7-day seminar. I feel like this is such a great way to pre-celebrate Gaur Purnima given our current situation. So I'd really like to thank His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhu and Gopal Prabhu for making this possible. And also Sutapa Prabhu for putting everything together in such an easy and accessible way for us to understand. Before I start, I'm going to have to echo my peers that presented before me in that I do not feel fit at all to speak on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please forgive me if I make any offenses or commit any mistakes. So I'll start with Mangalacharan and then we'll get started. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sargajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savudutam Prajatana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nivarsesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today, we will be discussing the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila chapter 16 to 25. It's the end of the Madhya Lila, and the two overarching themes will be aspiration and organization. So the discussion outline for today for aspiration will be an unfulfilled aspiration, the journey home, Rajmandal Parikrama, the journey away, and under organization will be Rupa and Sanatan's escape, teachings to Rupa Goswami, teachings to Sanatan Goswami, essential instructions to the Goswamis, and Prakashananda and the Mayavadi sannyasis. Distributed in these two topics, I'll also try my best to give some real life applications on why this matters and how we can use it in our daily lives. So to get started, the first section is aspirations, chapter 16 to 18. I included the definition of the word aspiration, which means a hope or ambition of achieving something. I feel like this definition really encapsulates what these chapters are about, where Mahaprabhu had a hope or ambition of achieving Vrindavan. So I would like us, if we take this definition forward throughout this section, it would really help to understand the mood that these chapters encapsulate. So we begin the first section, an unfulfilled aspiration. We join Mahaprabhu in Puri after he is initiated by Ishvara Puri. Mahaprabhu has an intense desire to visit Vrindavan. However, for about 3 years, this is not possible as festivities continued. However, one day Mahaprabhu presented the idea of going to Vrindavan to Sarvabhauma and Ramananda, and thus began Mahaprabhu's journey to Vrindavan, or his first journey to Vrindavan. So we follow Mahaprabhu to Ramakeli, where Mahaprabhu meets Rupa and Sanatan, who, upon hearing Mahaprabhu's desire to go to Vrindavan, dissuade him to go, as they feel that it will attract a lot of crowds, and this will attract dangerous attention and lead to criticism. So Mahaprabhu actually pays heed to their advice and decides to go back to Puri via Shantipura. And in Shantipura, Mahaprabhu meets Raghunath Das Goswami, who he advised in the matter of renunciation. However, once Mahaprabhu reaches Puri, he is again fueled by this failed attempt and makes a firm resolution to visit Vrindavan Dham and make another journey called the journey home. So again, we join Mahaprabhu in Puri. This time, Mahaprabhu intended to take this journey alone. However, his associates convinced him to take some assistance. So along with Mahaprabhu went Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was Mahaprabhu's cook, and an assistant Brahman who carried some of Mahaprabhu's personal belongings. So in this way, Mahaprabhu was free to chant the whole way to Vrindavan. So we follow Mahaprabhu next to Jarikanda forest. I'm sure like Gopal Radhe Prabhu had when he was singing that beautiful bhajan, he had the picture of Mahaprabhu dancing with the forest animals. So in this forest, there were fierce but chanting tigers, powerful but chanting elephants, timid but chanting deers, and they all joined Mahaprabhu in chanting Krishna, Krishna. It was said that this forest gave Mahaprabhu the feeling of Vrindavan, and he carried that on throughout the rest of the journey. So next, we follow Mahaprabhu to Varanasi, where Mahaprabhu meets Tapan Mishra, Raghunath Bhatt, and Chandrasekhar. It is said that they were the only Vaishnavas in their locality because their local leader was the Mayavadi sannyasi, Prakashananda Saraswati, who openly blasphemed Mahaprabhu when hearing that he was in the area. Mahaprabhu retorted by smiling, thinking about how to rectify the situation, but in this case, he avoided confrontation because his goal was Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu then goes on to Mathura via Prayag, and as soon as Mahaprabhu enters Mathura, he pays full dandavats out of love to Mathura Dham and is met by a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. and they both traveled together to Vrindavan Dham. So this is the first and the last time Mahaprabhu will be in Vrindavan. And as soon as he entered, he immediately dived into the Lord's pastimes, for he had finally arrived home. So we are going to follow Mahaprabhu on his Vrajmandal Parikrama. The first stop is Radhakund. However, Mahaprabhu and his associates from Mathura didn't really know where Radhakund was at the time. Mahaprabhu sat under a tamil tree and kept inquiring, but they didn't know. But Mahaprabhu, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-knower, he found 2 kunds in 2 paddy fields, and immediately he knew that this was Radhakund and Shamkund, and he took the mud from the kund and started applying it on his body. So this was the discovery of Radhakund and Shamkund. Then we follow Mahaprabhu to Kusum Sarovar, Govardhan village, Brahma Kund, Haridev temple, and then Giriraj. So as soon as Mahaprabhu sees Govardhan hill, as you can see in this picture, he sees every stone of Giriraj as the Lord himself and goes to embrace the stones. He has this intense desire, Mahaprabhu has this intense desire to see a Gopal deity that is on the hill, situated on the hill. But out of respect for Govardhan Hill, Mahaprabhu decides not to walk on the hill. And he still has this desire to see the deity Gopal. So on a pretext of a Muslim invasion, the Gopal deity actually does come down off the hill and gives Mahaprabhu his darshan. So the invasion was a means for Mahaprabhu to get this darshan that he so longed for. After Giriraj, we follow Mahaprabhu to Kamyavan, Kadiravan, Badriravan, Bhadravan, Bilvavan, Lohavan, and Mahavan. So Mahaprabhu concluded his Vrajmandal Parikrama by going to Mathura, where he was advised to settle in Akura Tirtha. And while settling there, Mahaprabhu did go to different sacred places along the Yamuna River, but this ended up attracting a lot of crowds. So Mahaprabhu was advised to start making the journey away. And in this journey away, Mahaprabhu and his associates heard a cowherd boy playing flute. And Mahaprabhu, in a fit of ecstasy, fainted unconscious. And a group of Muslim soldiers actually saw this, Mahaprabhu unconscious with his associates. And the Muslim soldiers thought that Mahaprabhu's associates were robbers and that they had attacked Mahaprabhu. So they came, as you can see in this picture, they came and they inquired, but Mahaprabhu had then regained consciousness. And he clarified the whole situation, and he actually began a very fruitful dialogue with these Muslim soldiers. And he actually used the Quran to establish the culture of devotion with these Muslim soldiers, and they became the Patan Vaishnavas. And then thereafter, Mahaprabhu continued his journey away. So here I would like to go over why does this matter. I have 3 bullet points listed here. The first one is the gravity of the Holy Dham, realizing the gravity of the Holy Dham. So we know that 3/4 of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the spiritual region, which is the most exalted region, and which is naturally the spiritual region, which is naturally superior to this material world. But even higher than this material world is Mathura and the surrounding areas, because the Lord appeared there. So here I would just like to refer to the Nectar of Instruction, text 9. Vaikuntaj janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat vrindaranyam udara pani ramanat tatrapi govardhanaha radha kundam ihapi gokulapate premamrita plavanat kuryad asya virajato giritate sevam viveki nakaha. So the translation to this is, The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathurapuri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Raslila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radhakund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarine love of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. So, if we take the essence of this text, and after discussing the significance the Dham had for Mahaprabhu, I feel like we can really get a sense of the gravity that the Holy Dham holds. So the next point that I have here is our aspiration. And what our aspirations should be towards the Dham. And we know from, I'm pretty sure many of us have visited the Dham, that the Dham, every corner you look, you're reminded of the Lord. The Dham is brimming with spiritual energy, and it's a place for you to connect more with God and to get association of saintly persons. So, in fact, it's said that if you circumambulate these holy places, you're freed from the cycle of birth and death, and your spiritual activities are multiplied. So after learning the importance of the Dham and reading Mahaprabhu's unceasing desire to go to the Dham, I feel like our desire should be, we should pray to be blessed with even a drop of the unwavering desire to attain Vrindavan. And that should be our aspiration, to pray to have even a drop of what Mahaprabhu had to achieve Vrindavan. So the third point I have is our attitude, what our attitude should be towards Vrindavan Dham. What our attitude should be to Vrindavan Dham when approaching the Dham. To gain these spiritual blessings of going to the Dham, we must approach with a sincere attitude and a humble heart. The Dham should be viewed with eyes of devotion, as at times our external vision might see the poverty and the pollution. So in order to keep our attitude above this material outlook of poverty and pollution, we should travel to the Dham with mature devotees. That should be our attitude, with a humble heart and a feeling of sincerity. So Mahaprabhu's travels, this section of aspiration was mainly focused on Mahaprabhu's travels. So his travels and his fixed determination, as we saw when he returned back to Puri after failing to reach Vrindavan, Mahaprabhu's travels and his fixed desire for Vrindavan gives us an understanding of the gravity of the Holy Dham, a yearning for Braj, our aspiration, our yearning for Braj, and a respectful attitude towards these holy cities. So the next section is organization. I again included the definition, which is an organized body of people with a particular purpose. And again, I feel like this is so fitting for these chapters, as in these chapters, we see how Mahaprabhu created an organized body of Vaishnavas with the purpose of developing and spreading Krishna Prema. So first we meet the head of Mahaprabhu's organization, which is Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. It was not a very easy path for them to get this instruction. We'll start with Rupa Goswami, who had it a bit easier. Rupa Goswami freed himself from all social ties by distributing his material wealth to his family and to his associates, and he met with the Lord in Prayag, and he was instructed for 10 days. However, Sanatan Goswami had not a bit harder time. Sanatan Goswami was in with governmental affairs, and he was tired of it. So he pretended to be sick and spent his days discussing Srimad Bhagavatam with some Brahmins. And one day the Nawab came in and happened upon the scene of Sanatan Goswami just discussing Srimad Bhagavatam when he was supposed to be sick. And the Nawab got very angry and confronted Sanatan Goswami. And Sanatan Goswami made it very clear that he wanted to leave. He did not want to get entangled in these government affairs again. But the Nawab would not take it. He ruthlessly took Sanatan Goswami and imprisoned him. So Sanatan Goswami is in prison and Rupa Goswami gets word. So Rupa Goswami sends a message that reaches Sanatan Goswami that says, there is an emergency fund and it suggested that you could use this emergency fund to bribe the jail to get out. So Sanatan Goswami did just that. Sanatan Goswami was an expert in diplomatic affairs. So he bribed and he used his diplomatic skills to get out of jail. As soon as he got out of jail, he met with the Lord in Varanasi and he was instructed for 2 months. So this slide is just some of the 4 main points that Mahaprabhu taught to Rupa Goswami, which was the rarity of devotional service, the seed of devotion, pure devotional service, and our relationship with Krishna. And this is the teachings of Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami, which is the energies of the Lord, aspects of absolute truth, spiritual and material universes, process of devotional service, regulated and spontaneous devotion, qualities of God, explanation of Atmaram verse, and the outline for Hari Bhakti Vilas. Along with Mahaprabhu's instructions to Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, he also left instructions for all 6 Goswamis, essential instructions about the holy places to rediscover, excavate, and establish the sacred locations of Krishna's pastimes, about deity worship and temples, to establish temples, install deities, and document appropriate standards of deity worship, daily worship, about literature, to write literature outlining essential Vedic conclusions, and about Vaishnava culture, to elucidate and exemplify Vaishnava character, culture, and etiquette. So now we come back to Prakashananda Saraswati and the Mayavadi sannyasis. If you recall, I feel like I'm talking really fast, so I'm sorry, but if you recall in the first part, we spoke about Mahaprabhu meeting Prakashananda Saraswati in Varanasi, and how Prakashananda Saraswati openly blasphemed Mahaprabhu, but that was not the time to rectify this. So after that incident, Chandrasekhar and Tapan Mishra were very disturbed by this. And a Brahmin from Varanasi actually invited Mahaprabhu to come, and Mahaprabhu thought that this would be the right time to rectify what had happened before. So when Mahaprabhu entered with all of the Mayavadi sannyasis, he actually sat right by their feet. And the sannyasis could automatically feel this warmth and that there was something special about Mahaprabhu. And they immediately stood up and they told Mahaprabhu to come and sit with them. But Mahaprabhu very humbly denied and said, no, you are more exalted than me. So he just sat on the floor. As you can see in this picture, he was with all of the Mayavadi sannyasis on the floor, and they started quizzing Mahaprabhu about his chanting and his dancing, because the Mayavadi sannyasis, their duty was to soberly study Vedanta philosophy. For them, Mahaprabhu's chanting and dancing as a sannyasi was very unorthodox. So they questioned Mahaprabhu about this. And Mahaprabhu retorted by saying that he was simply following his guru's instructions. And his guru's instructions was that in this age, chanting is the only method, and that there's no other method in this age that will get you Krishna Prema. So after more discussion with the Mayavadi sannyasis, they all started accepting Mahaprabhu's teachings. Even so that Prakashananda Saraswati himself personally met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and accepted his divine identity and apologized for what happened earlier. So after rectifying the situation, Mahaprabhu decided to return back to Puri. Okay, so now we get to why does this matter? we went through how Mahaprabhu created this organization of instructions to Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, to the six Goswamis. So why was Mahaprabhu creating this organization? And he was creating this organization to declare a war against Kali Yuga. I read this quote by His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami, and I completely loved it. I thought it was very fitting for this PowerPoint. So Lord Chaitanya declares a war against Kali Yuga, with the bow being the six Goswamis. So here we see our organization that we talked about before, how Mahaprabhu instructed these Goswamis. So the bow being the six Goswamis, by pulling back the string being Bhakti Vinod Thakur, making a thunderous sound, puts the long, strong arrow being Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and having the direction giving feather back of the arrow. I feel like that sentence doesn't really make sense to me, but I feel like it's saying the direction, being Sri Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And finally, the sharp, penetrating arrow front being A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So for us in our daily lives, why does this matter? How can we help Srila Prabhupada? How can we keep this penetrating arrow front sharp? And that is by ensuring the vibrancy of the spiritual movement. So to ensure the vibrancy, there are three elements here: spiritual inspiration, organization and structure, and culture and ethos. These three elements can be likened to different aspects of a car. So if we take spiritual inspiration, for instance, that can be likened to the fuel of a car. Without fuel in your car, you won't get anywhere, your car won't start. So only when members are inspired, nourished, and happy can the movement push forward and impact the world to give life. To give life, one must be alive. So how do we keep our fuel from running out? And that is renunciation. Oops, sorry. Renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Mahaprabhu's devotees. And in fact, when Mahaprabhu sees this renunciation, he becomes extremely satisfied. And this is reminding me of an example that a sage, he gave a graphic representation of how we are entrapped in this illusion. Without any bondages to himself, the sage ran outside and firmly grasped onto a tree and started shouting and yelling, "Let me go, let me go, let me go." And this was supposed to represent how we desire this freedom, but we are firmly grasping onto these material attachments. So the only way to let go of these material attachments is by practicing renunciation of attachments, by offering our work to the Lord, by offering our work in the service of the Lord. So the next section is organization and structure. This can be likened to the machinery of the car. So the infrastructure of the car, the outside of the car, if it's not built well, if it's dented, or if it's broken, the car will break. It will not go far. So similarly, a movement can effectively progress forward when proper systems are in place to channel, focus, and sustain the momentum. Even spirit needs to be managed. So how can we progress forward with these proper systems in place? We can progress forward by establishing uniform standards and consistency among followers, so uniform, by preserving purity and authenticity of the process for generations to come, so purity, and facilitate wider proliferation of nama sankirtan, or preaching. So the third and the final element is culture and ethos. This can be likened to the steering of a car. So every car needs navigation, and if you're inattentive, the car will go off the path and will cause damage. So only when a movement is grounded in the culture of respect and saintliness, we pass through inevitable conflicts, issues, and obstacles without inflicting permanent damage. So how can we be grounded in this culture of respect? And that is by our text that was, and our literature that was given to us by Srila Prabhupada, that was given to us by Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and that was given to us through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by those literature, and also by listening to lectures that we're so fortunate we're about to listen to Pran Govinda Prabhu elaborate on this, and by having firm faith in Srila Prabhupada and in the movement. So these three elements are repeatedly outlined, these three elements, spiritual inspiration, organization and structure, and culture and ethos, are repeatedly outlined by Mahaprabhu to ensure the vibrancy of a spiritual movement. And implementing these are essential for our spiritual car to reach its top speed. That is it. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for letting me talk. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gaurangi. That was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. I'm sure everybody is very much inspired and enthused with what a wonderful presentation you have put in front. Uh, I'll request His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhu, if you can unmute. Very well, Pran Govinda Prabhu. Yes,
Hare
you can shower
Krishna. Can you
your
hear me?
blessings on Gaurangi. Thank you.
I'm like a little shocked. I was thinking I was listening a sannyasi or someone. She's so good. You're like amazing. You should really go for it. All the way to sannyas, Paramhansa. It's wonderful, really. I'm very impressed. Thank you so much. Each of you, I mean, unbelievable. Mother Vishnu Priya, then Brinda, then you, and between Jishnu. Is Jishnu Prabhu here? Oh, yeah, he's hiding. He always hide behind Krishna Bala, which is good. Okay, thank you so much again. Keep on going though. Next 90 years at least. And then we will not keep track. So let's begin with the Pranam Mantra Mangalacharan. Bande Gurum Padadandam Bhakta Brinda Samanitam Sri Chaitanyam Prabhum Bande Nityananda Sahoditam Sri Nanda Nandanam Bande Radhika Padashayam Gopi Jana Samajuktam Brindavana Manoharam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My dear friend Sadhadev Prabhu very nicely gave his office. So I have a huge screen. I'm not used to it. So I'm just trying to get, okay.
If you keep it on gallery view, you will be able to see everybody.
Okay. So she has done such a wonderful service. I'm really like surprised. I mean, I should expect that, but I don't know her. So I really appreciate. Thank you. I really urge you to keep on going. And Gopal Radhe Prabhu also, such a beautiful, melodious voice. I wish I had that voice. I would sing all day, every day. So you have covered almost everything as a touch base, and you gave some depth, which was very nice. I would grade you very AAA plus. I don't know if there is a grade AAA plus. Puri to Ramkeli, Balabhadra Bhatta, Brahmana Jarikon Forest, Varanasi, Prakashananda Saraswati, Radha Kun, Akrurati, Bisam Ghat, and then organization. And then the very well you did with the real life application. I love that. It's very relevant. So I was thinking like, you all know the beautiful pastimes of Vrindavan. Most of the devotee knows. And most of the devotees are also familiar with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. So then I was just thinking while I was listening here, I'll just go directly to the teachings. For an example, I made a few questions this morning. If your faith is attacked internally, what Rupa Goswami path can help you? How Rupa Goswami path can help you? If your faith, if your attraction to Krishna consciousness in your bhakti process, even externally or internally, what are you supposed to do? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course Rupa Goswami Pad knows, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a beautiful conclusion that yes, there is a two different way to look at it. The approach are different for both. Internal doubts can be dealt by going to, as she mentioned, devotee association. But devotee association, Rupa Goswami Pad, he clarified what is devotee association means. You can be with your same age friends, but do you feel coming closer to Krishna? Do you feel that your attraction to Krishna is increasing with that friend? If you feel that your friend actually helping you to come closer to Krishna, then best way you can be benefited, try to appreciate that friend. Now, if you have a friend who is not actually helping you to come to Krishna consciousness, do you check or you examine your heart? Can you feel natural attraction to uplift that person? But you have to be very careful, because uplifting does not mean you go drown with that devotee. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He went down. He told everybody not to hear Mayavadi. But he heard for 7 days. Now the doubt may come that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling us not to go for it, but he did it. He did it. But what was the outcome? His intention was not revealed in the beginning. His intention was at the end. Oh, I see Jishnupu's face. You look very happy. Very nice. Thank you. So then the estimation should be, I really want everybody to remember this, because you will have a lot of friend, relatives, however you call, classmates and all this. You don't reject, you don't accept gladly either. you have to examine your heart. This is Rupa Goswami Pa's beginning teaching today. That if you see somebody's influence in your life actually brings you closer to your Guru or Prabhupada and Krishna, you should appreciate that devotee. Don't just take advantage of the knowledge and just keep it in your pocket, in your heart, and don't care about that devotee. You know what I'm saying? You just keep a key point in your heart and you use it, but you don't appreciate that devotee. Why I'm saying this? Because you want to retain that. How that devotee came to that advanced stage. In order to retain, you have to appreciate. If you do not appreciate, after a few months, few years, gone. I used to remember many things. What happened to me? I don't remember any of the teachings because of that. Second point, these are practical. Second point, if you also have a friend, you don't reject, but you see that that person always is some problem, does not have an appreciation, rather criticize, talk bad about it. See if you can help. How do you help? If you don't have an ability to convince that person to be positively seeing this, then you invite another devotee or someone who is capable. Don't withdraw yourself from your friendship that because you cannot, kind of like I don't care. I just go to school. Hi, how are you? That's it. But that person wants to talk to you. That person has an interest on you. So in that case, try to elevate that person. If you don't feel, this verse goes, Guna adhikam mudam lipshet. Guna adhikam, one who has an advance, adhik means advance, then you appreciate. You heard this. Then the next one, it says, Anukrusham guna adhamat. And if you see somebody is lower than you, then you try to elevate that devotee or that friend. And then samannat, and if you have a friendship, make sure you spend time that you speak, also allow the other person to speak and exchange, come to a good conclusion that grows bigger. If you do these three things, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I really want you to write it down, and I can send you the, probably in the group where this sloka is from Bhagavatam. You will literally diminish all material suffering. If you can just do these three things. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is possible. I'm trying to do that too. That's why I'm asking you. So we have to learn which kind of devotee can address which kind of doubts. If we are analytical, then we need the association of someone who is analytical. Make sense? I mean, you know what type of devotee you are. If we are culturally oriented, just like Rupa Goswami, a beautiful example. Rupa Goswami is such a cultured. I'm giving you a different angle to look at it, because recently I was just thinking, like, traditionally we recite the past times, what he did, but how it's relevant, then we can see. I'm going to give you like some tips, like what I understood about Rupa Goswami. He was such a culture that when somebody appreciate, just like I'm going to attack Mother Gaurangi, don't take it personally, okay? I'll just, now devotee appreciated, Gopal Radhe Prabhu appreciated. I also do feel you have done a wonderful service, and many other devotees will agree. But what you have to do, you really have to counsel with another devotee, like your father or mother or whoever is close. Say, this is how I did it for this group. What do you think? Whomever you respect, Rupa Goswami Pad, every time he came up with a wonderful explanation of pure bhakti, definition of devotees, how to associate. 64 limbs of bhakti, 5 is the essential, every time, but he did not conclude. Even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proved that Rupa Goswami Pad is a self-manifested devotee that who knows the heart of Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami Pad was recognized by the whole, not only devotees, even the Goswamis, that he is the best. When somebody is recognized the best, does he require to get counseled by another devotee? What do you think? Anybody has any idea? Generally, I used to think, no. If I am good, some Maharaj said, this is wonderful. What do you say? Just like this morning, Bir Krishna Maharaj appreciated my class. He was testing how I'm, going to act like a sannyasi class. So he told me, and then he gave me a surprise bar. So we talked, and it was interesting. And Maharaj appreciated. But immediately I thought this is not enough, because I need to actually sit down with somebody who I regard, who actually will not appreciate only, who also will, rectify my mistake. Anyone knows who Rupa Goswami used to do every time he did something?
Sanatan Goswami.
Sanatan Goswami. Even though this is called culture, when we use the word culture, means they don't take the credit themselves. Rupa Goswami does not need any consultation with anyone. Mahaprabhu even told him, Sarup Damodar told him, King Prataprudra appreciated, Haridas Thakur appreciated. The glory of holy name, Rupa Goswami explained. Mahaprabhu's confidential desire to give Krishna Prem, Braja Prem, Rupa Goswami is the one who revealed. So he doesn't need actually confirmation and consultation with a Sanatan Goswami. But the culture is that you always have somebody to look after you, that you are okay doing. This is such a wonderful. I hope everybody is getting my point. Even though we may be right, just like Maharaj appreciated my class, but I'm not saying anything wrong he did. He was wonderful, appreciating, and devotees also. But still, I consulted with another devotee who I adore a lot. And he's in India, so I could not get in right away. And then he says, oh, that was very good. Your time, if it is more, you could add something more like this. I like that. That means he cares for me. And Rupa Goswami Pad proved that. Rupa Goswami Pad also, another thing, he was super humble. Super humble. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Rupa Goswami Pad in Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri, 2 times. In Jagannath Puri, he says, Rupa Goswami Pad wrote the beautiful pastime of Vrindavan. He gave such an elaboration of in Bidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav. Okay, would you like to hear? Mahaprabhu is asking, all the devotees gathered, but Rupa Goswami Pad would not come. It sounds like a Bengali, like a little shyness or something. No, Rupa Goswami Pad literally feel not to show off that his geniusness in front of all these great sadhus. So he remained not to sit with the all. He remained to sit far distance. This background I put, it looks like my head is like going this way, that way. Like, maybe I should just go back to my normal. But then it's Sadhadev Prabhu's office. I hope you all like it. I'll just go back. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, never mind. It will take a long time for me. I'm a computer illiterate. So anyway, so then Rupa Goswami Pad, he stayed there little far and he remained humble, and everybody understood, because he doesn't want to come in front of all these advanced sadhu, even though he is recognized as the most advanced. Such a super humble. Then Rupa Goswami Pad, another, was wonderful. He says, when you write something, you want to write something, I'm not attacking anyone, but generally when you want to write something, guess what I'm assuming? You take a pen and paper and immediately you want to write or type it out. Yeah? Rupa Goswami Pad never did that. Something we can learn. What he did, he literally prayed to Govinda Dev. And because it was disturbing that Mahaprabhu's instruction that Govinda Dev has to be established, he even was desperately looking for. How desperate? He was looking for that Krishna himself came as a little coward boy. He said, what are you looking for? You're looking for, he said, I'm looking for Govinda Dev. Mahaprabhu told me to establish. He said, okay, I can show you where the Govinda Dev is. And Rupa Goswami Pad took it very seriously. Seeing his depressed condition, that Rupa Goswami Pad literally took the shelter of that boy, and that boy went there and shown him, and then you know the whole pastime, how it took over. But every time Rupa Goswami Pad would write something, he would first evoke the mercy. Can we do that from today? Don't just type it out. What do you want to write? Let's type it out. No. First, think of Prabhupada or your particular deity. I know you all love Radha Kanta, and I'm also started, but I still love my Radha Shamsundar. I'm not being hypocritical, I'm just being honest. So, because I have an attachment to Radha Shamsundar also. So, Rupa Goswami Pad did, but I would not do this before. And I started doing this after reading the key point. There is some kind of empowerment comes by the deity and Prabhupada mercy that your writing will be even better. Your realization will be even better than what you could come up with on your own endeavor. Of course, endeavor is very important. Another thing is, Rupa Goswami Pad always respected senior devotee, whether they are well known in the verse or the philosophy. Any example? Ballavacharya. Ballavacharya coming from another sampradaya. Ballavacharya, they do not even worship Radha Krishna's in a Manjari mood, very intimate. It's very interesting. But here, Ballavacharya, when he came and knowing that Ballavacharya is very respected senior member, Mahaprabhu gave him mercy. They met in Prayag. You all know that pastime, I'm sure. He asked, what are you writing? He said, I just finished Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. I mean, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada gave the Nectar of Devotion name. And Rupa Goswami Pad immediately says, would you mind of just checking whether I'm okay doing this? Now, let me ask one of you, if you're writing about something that not familiar by another senior devotee, he doesn't even read, he just probably just hanging around, but he hangs around before you even born or something, since long time, and you wrote something very unique, would you like to give to that devotee to see if it is correct? Generally not. I'm being honest to myself. I'm not asking your opinion really, because you all are more advanced, but I would not generally would do that. Because in my mind, I was thinking like, oh, that devotee probably don't even know. Maybe he's long time in the movement. That doesn't mean he knows. Because we never hear, neither when we hear about his talk is not really familiar with that philosophy. So I would not. But Rupa Goswami was so respectful to Ballavacharya that he gave to edit by, of course, Jiva Goswami Pad came and says, what you are editing? There is nothing mistake on Rupa Goswami Pad's. That is his duty. As a disciple, he can do that. And actually, he even said that he should not, there is nothing wrong what Rupa Goswami Pad did. But what did Rupa Goswami Pad do? Did he accept that? No. He actually vanished Jiva Goswami Pad for doing that. So this is something very interesting to progress in spiritual path, how Rupa Goswami path, Mahaprabhu is teaching through him. Another is Padmavali. How many of you know Padmavali? The Rupa Goswami path is one of the biggest contribution. Anyone? Only Gopal Radhe Prabhu? You should know Padmavali. Padmavali is the compilation of the verses that Rupa Goswami path got. And I was deeply thinking, oh my Lord, none of the, not none, very few are actually from our parampara. Most of the verses is from other sampradaya and other well-known advanced sadhus. I was thinking Rupa Goswami Pad knew how to respect those, even like for a who was that? I think Pope. Anybody read the letter of Prabhupada writing to the Pope? How he addressed to Pope? His divine grace. Would you write that to Pope? Generally we think, no, somebody said he eats bail. Anyway, we're not criticizing or anything. The baby calf, like he eats that. But look at Prabhupada, how respectful he is. Because that person actually influenced millions and millions all over the world to bring them to Krishna. Maybe directly he's not mentioning the name Krishna, but through Jesus he's bringing. And Prabhupada's letter is so amazed. I was like a surprise. Prabhupada writes, you divine grace. I hope we can do preaching together to bring all the humanity to Krishna consciousness. So I was thinking like, this is same thing Rupa Goswami is doing. He is actually respecting all those Sampradaya, great Acharya, any great poet. He took some of their verses and he compiled a new one called Padmavali. Another thing, in your life, you must read Vidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav. This is two books. This is a contradictory. Of course, today I don't have time much. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami Pad in Vrindavan, do not take Krishna ever out of Vrindavan, because Krishna never put one step outside Vrindavan. What to talk about going to Mathura and Dwarka? You're thinking like, Prabhu, in Krishna book, it says Krishna went to Mathura, Dwarka. Wait. So, question comes, if Chaitanya, since Mahaprabhu told him, don't ever take Krishna out of Vrindavan, then how is that Rupa Goswami Pad wrote through these two books? Famous, many books, but two books I just brought for a reference. One is Hamsadutta and Uddhava Gita. Now, Hamsadutta is a beautiful message from Radharani through Lalita Sakhi to Krishna who lives outside Vrindavan. And Uddhava Sandesh is another book. It is a message from Krishna for the Brajavasi, but Krishna who lives outside Vrindavan. Now question comes, did Rupa Goswami Pad actually disobey Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction that don't take him out even one step, don't take him out of Braja, because Krishna never goes out one step out of Braja. Okay, I'll talk about this later, but you think whether he broke or he didn't break. Did he obey or disobey? Well, the answer is, because I don't want to hang it in case. The answer is no, he never broke. But how to understand? This is a wonderful. Another point, Rupa Goswami Pad's, how well these acharyas, just like Prabhupada, is genius. He made this GBC. He appointed a system that it will work. It will produce pure devotee. If we just follow the Prabhupada's instruction in this society, it will produce more and more hundreds and thousands of pure devotee. If we just simply follow this instruction of Prabhupada through the society, but we have to stay intact. Rupa Goswami Pad, he did the similar origin. He well trained his only disciple, Jiva Goswami Pad. Rupa Goswami Pad is not a Murtiwala. And everybody knows what is Murtiwala. The Murtiwala means the person who carved the deity. I never heard that Rupa Goswami Pad went to any shop or anywhere training how to carve a deity. But he carved a deity for his disciple. It was so intimate feeling that this Radha Damodar Murti, that literally he did so much for his disciple that that disciple became the biggest acharya. This is the biggest contribution, Rupa Goswami Pad's. Rupa Goswami Pad's writings is like taking gulab jamun in a shipping box. You're going to ship it from New Orleans or whatever, Baton Rouge to India, or Houston to India. Now, how are you going to ship it? If you have a plastic box and you're sending gulab jam, will it work? Probably not. It will probably get smashed in the airplane or, by the other. So what is Jiva Goswami Pad did, he's the only acharya in our parampara who composed over 400,000 verses. Do you know what is 400,000 verses? Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Chaitanya Charitamrita has 11,000 verses. That's it, 11,000 verses, 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita is only 700. What else? The big book. Mahabharata, 100,000 verses. Jiva Goswami Pad wrote 400,000 verses, Prabhus and mothers. Unbelievable. Because Rupa Goswami Pad empowered. The biggest contribution Rupa Goswami Pad, all of them, but his disciple, only disciple Jiva Goswami Pad, who made a wonderful, wonderful contribution in Mahaprabhu's movement. Of course, Rupa Goswami Pad, Rashik Bhakta. One little pastime I will tell you, that one time, because I just felt like to tell you, just even though today I was thinking like just philosophy, but this is a Rupa Goswami Pad, sometime you cannot miss it. He has so much intimate connection. He is like a Taramani. Taramani is a Rupa Manjari is like a person, Srimati Radharani cannot see anything without Rupa Goswami. Srimati Radharani has a two intimate Manjari. If anybody knows the other name, you will get a prize. How do you do it? Okay. See.
Is that is Rupa Manjari and Ananga Manjari?
Yes, very good. Okay. Oh, now you see the messy background. Okay, no, never mind. Now, Sadhdev Prabhu actually has a good office. It's just, I'm just making a mess here. So you have to forgive me. How do I get out of here? Oh, okay. Sorry. So, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. Oh, what happened to me?
Yeah, your video is off, Prabhu.
Okay, sorry.
There it is. Yes.
So, Rupa Manjari, she is so intimate to Radharani. One time Radharani, she saw that Mother Joshoda's expression. She made beautiful breakfast for Krishna. And Mother Jashoda came to her. She said, I'm just dreaming about you. And Srimati Radharani says, she didn't say anything. She's just a shy little beautiful girl. He said, I wish my son is so beautiful, but you are unparalleled beauty. I wish you would marry my son in future. I cannot see anything else. And Radharani was so shy and, like trying to hide herself, but Mother Yashoda wants to talk to her and she didn't know how to like hide from her. Some or other, after finishing talking, she just ran. And she's like shocked. I mean, she loves Krishna, of course. There's no question. She would love to marry, but it's like the reality coming true, your heart, pumped so hard. And Radharani just ran to this. Near Nanda Maharaj's Bhavan, there is a guest house of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And Radharani sometimes rests there. So there's a beautiful lake. So not lake, pond. So Radharani is sitting there. And she's thinking, is this really going to happen? Wow, I'll be with him. Wow. I mean, like she could not like put together like how to really conceptualize in her heart that this is really going to happen. It's like she's overwhelmed, she's crying. All of a sudden, there is she's looking at the water. In the bathing ghat, there is a steps. In India, the girls, they sit there. I see that. Even the boys sit there, you just talk. It's like a relaxed, cool air from the water coming. So she's sitting there. All of a sudden, she sees in the water Krishna's face. And she said, wow, he's also in the water. Of course, Jogamaya cover her, that to think further because she's so overwhelmed. What happened? Krishna actually climbed the tree. There's a way the tree, Jogamaya put that Krishna wants to see her in the water because she cannot, he wants to look at her, but it's like embarrassing to look at her in front because of what people will think. So he looking her through the water and she's looking him through the water also. But they don't know each other that they're looking each other. It's very interesting. So all of a sudden, Rupa Manjari comes. She always follows, but that day was little late. And seeing Radharani sitting there, so she thought, well, maybe she needs some kind of talk or, something more because today was like a shocking news she heard. So then she came near, but then she had something on her hand. So she went in the water and she just washed her hand, not knowing that actually in the water, when the reflection comes and when you wash the water, it ripples. And Radharani just got so angry. And she didn't know what happened. What did I do? I just washed my own hand. How can this make her unhappy? So Rupa Manjari is so genius that she would not move from there. She would just see what was before, reflecting, like what did she do wrong? Then say, there is a reflection of Krishna. Then seeing this, then she looked it up in the tree and Krishna is there. And seeing this, Krishna got caught. So Krishna is trying to come down quick. So Rupa Manjari just ran to the tree. As soon Krishna came down, he said, hey, look, let's make a straight talk. You ever heard from a girl or a boy, like they want to have a straight talk? She said, this is how Rupa Manjari says, you know who I am? I'm Rupa Manjari. You know my purpose of life is to unite these two together, you and her. I just want you to hammer this in your head. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. My only purpose in life that you have to come and meet her and sit down there. I can't, what people will think. They say, I don't care. I'm going to guard and engage all other manjaris. Now, you may say, why is bringing this point? You know why I'm bringing this point? This is a confidential. Chaitanya Charitamrita has a lot of confidential. One of the confidential in Vidagdha Madhav and Lalit Madhav, that Rupa Goswami was teaching, that Mahaprabhu empowered him to write. When you develop this attitude to serve divine couple, we sing, Gopaladeva Prabhu also, I don't know if he sang already or maybe he's going to sing, Nortam Das Thakur, Jugal Milan song, Nortam Das Thakur sing. We sing every temple, they sing. What is that concept? The concept is that when you finish your sadhan bhakti, produce the bhava bhakti, then you come to the vastu siddhi prema bhakti. That time you actually, if you are in that line, parampara, then you enter into Vrindavan to be a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. Now, how do you become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani? There will be a test, final test. And guess who is going to take the test? You know, the final exam, medical board has to give you, even though you graduated as MD, but still you cannot practice. The medical board has to certify you. That is Rupa Manjari. So Rupa Manjari has to certify before any soul from this world goes to enter into Radharani's camp. How she will certify? You will be tested. Hare Krishna, or I don't know if she will say Hare Krishna, but I'm just addressing. Oh, welcome to Golok Vrindavan. You are wonderful. Why you are here? Oh, I want to serve Srimati Radharani. I want to serve Krishna under guidance of Radharani and you. Why? You don't need to. Krishna is there. Look at, I can arrange you. You can just be with Krishna. You don't need here to serve. No, we don't need. You feel like, so many life, I did so much austerity. I never missed Ekadashi. I never missed Katha. And Pran Govind was giving these little tips. I was paying attention. I was meditating. I'm going to serve Radharani. And now it's all lie. I have to just meet Krishna. Okay. Wow, maybe, okay. I mean, literally, I can be with Krishna. Sure. Done, Prabhu, you missed it. You from getting the highest happiness, you are lost. You will be outside Radharani's camp. There are 4 camps in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When you read, we only go up to 19th chapter. You should go further. Finish the entire nectar devotion. There are 4 camps. Shapaksha, Vipaksha, Tatastha, Surit. The Shapaksha is Radharani's camp. But how are you going to Rupa Manjari? Rupa Goswami. This is Mahaprabhu. Establish the highest confidential things. But if you say, no, I do not care, please, I don't want anything. I just want to serve under you. Because Srila Prabhupada, when I was in material world, Srila Prabhupada said, you can say that to her. And she will speak in English probably, if you want to only speak in English. No, I'm just kidding. But Prabhupada told this to Bhavananda Prabhu. Because Bhavananda Prabhu said, Prabhupada, I am worried what will happen to when I meet Lord Chaitanya. Because I don't know any language beside English. And Prabhupada went around twice in the room. On the 3rd time he said, I'll make sure Lord Chaitanya will speak to you in English. Don't worry. Such a little childish talk, but so sweet. I love that. Such a wonderful when we follow Prabhupada and everything is assured. So then what happened? Rupa Manjari finally will ask you that question. And if you pass that exam, then she will say, okay, here is the gift of Radharani, some shari or some cloth or Radharani's ankle bell or something is given to you as a gift and you are entrance in Radharani's camp. Haribol, congratulations, the highest achievement. This is what Rupa Goswami is teaching, ultimate ends. I'm just finishing that. Everybody, I mean, in between, there's so much we discuss about bhakti and all this. I don't think I need to explain that. Now I'm back to the original question. The approach are different for both. Internal doubts can be dealt by going to devotees who know that subject. You remember I started with that? We have to learn which kind of devotee can address what kind of doubts. You remember I discussed about if you are analytical, you know what you are. I know also what I am, little bit. I mean, I don't know so much about myself, but we all have some idea. If you are analytical, go to analytical types of senior devotee. And if you are culturally oriented, go to culture-oriented devotee. You will be more benefited, quick progress. This is Rupa Goswami's secret, giving tips here, there. Then we need the association of someone culturally oriented. Basically, we need spiritual guides, mentors who understand our mind, then help us. Because understanding someone's mind means what? In America, they say to step into shoes of the seeker and understand the problem from seeker's perspective. Otherwise, situation will not improve. Isn't it? It's true. So generic advice is like, why you think so much? Just chant Hare Krishna. You ever heard something like this? Why you have to worry for so many things, question this, that? Just chant Hare Krishna. Generally we think, well, may not solve the issue the seeker is struggling with. Neither Srila Prabhupada says, nor Rupa Goswami Pad says that. Just chant Hare Krishna, everything will be okay. No. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad emphasize like-minded association. Sadhu Sangha Sato Bore. You have to have a like-minded, one who has the same goal, same kind of process to grow. You cannot have a friend who is in Radhakund doing 24 hours chanting and you say, I'm busy with my schoolwork. And then you get a text message, you are in Maya. How do you feel? Well, that's from Radhakund friend. Well, maybe he's not going to really help. He has to understand that Krishna has to be loved through also your school, not necessarily like be in Radhakund. Everybody understanding my point why I'm bringing this? Okay, thank you. So there are two kinds of doubt we have. We have a head doubts and heart doubts. Head doubts, Rupa Goswami Pad says, are more intellectual. For example, Bhagavatam described the Meru mountain is beyond sensory perception. You ever heard that? Ilapriti Borsho. I actually made a one PowerPoint presentation. If you want, I can send it. Historian may doubt, how can something so big, 100,000 jojonas time 8, so 800,000 miles. I mean, that's, you cannot imagine a solid gold mountain. Okay, very good. But Srimad Bhagavatam, the path by which Lord Krishna came from Hastinapur to Dwarka is described. Now, if you go to geography book, I spoke a little bit about it, that you may not find exactly Bhagavatam saying that. The route that Krishna took it, Rupa Goswami Pad's helping us, don't look at Bhagavatam like that. Bhagavatam says that Rupa Goswami Pad says, Krishna from Hastinapur, he went to this city, to that village, to this village, to that village, and then finally arrived in Dwarka. Now, if you go to the map, GPS or whatever, Google map, and then you try to put it there, you'll say, this is not possible. How is that? Such details are not given a lot of emphasis in Bhagavatam. Try to understand this. We should study to pursue the purpose that was pursued by the original student of the scriptures, Rupa Goswami Pad says. That helped me a lot, because a lot of time, some of the second generation, they have a doubt on the certain things in Bhagavatam. Maybe you all are advanced, you never faced like this. In Alachua, I faced. I'm seeing that devotee's face also. He says that, I believe Prabhupada, but these things that didn't go to moon and all these things, I can't just take it, Prabhu, even though I'm born as a devotee. So they have. So I had to talk with him, and they helped me actually to understand in different way. So we should study scripture to pursue the purpose that was pursued by the original student like Rupa Goswami Pad or even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Head doubts are about facts and figures, which are important, but we should study scripture to remember Krishna, not to chalk out the GPS or, how Krishna did it, what he did it. Everybody understanding that? So we should study this literature, Rupa Goswami Pad says, to remember Krishna and to increase our devotion for Krishna. That should be our main purpose. Not whether people went to the moon or not. Heart doubts need to be addressed, whereas head doubts can be kept in suspension. If people ask questions, then we need to see what kind of people they are. If they're asking genuine question, then we should answer them. But if people simply criticize everything out of habit, it is better to keep a safe distance from them in that friendship. Everybody understanding my point? You don't need to dwell in it. If someone develops our faith, if somebody devalues our faith, then do not overvalue their ideas. We should rather value those who value us. This is Rupa Goswami Pad's final conclusion. And I really appreciated that there was a lot of point. Now on Sanatana Goswami Pad, I have few minutes. Krishna, 8:20. On Sanatana Goswami Pad has so vast in Madhya Lila. I don't know how Mother Gaurangi did so touching the main key point, and she picked up the cherry, was very nice. I could not do it because it was like a vast, overwhelming. Even I'm trying to not to speak, but it's in my head is like going, Krishna is like reminding so many things, like how rare is human species, you break down, and conscious evolution and all these things. But certain thing, Rupa Goswami Sanatana Goswami Pad says, I'm going to address that. For an example, he gave a first question I wrote here. How to define sin? Because in Nectar of Devotion, you remember, we said there is a, who remembers in Nectar of Devotion? Come on, I'm sure you all remember in the beginning. There are 3 types of sin. Mahapap, Papa, Mahapapa, you remember? Some great sin? I'm sure you remember, you just shy to shake your head. Or Rupa Goswami Pad, I missed it. I did not find in this Nectar of Devotion that definition, but that's in another book in a relation to Jotila Kutila, Ujjal Nilmani. I'm not suggesting you should read it because Prabhupada did not say we are eligible. Unless you are eligible, don't read. It's a very confidential Radha Krishna's pastime. So here, Rupa Goswami Pad says, for ordinary religious person, whatever contradicts, please remember what is sin. What is the definition of sin? He says, whatever contradicts the principle of religion is sin. Whatever contradicts the principle of religion is sin. Not that eating meat is only sin. If you have a doubt not to chant, that is also sin. For devotees of the Supreme Lord, Rupa Goswami Pad said, everything which stands in the way of pure devotional service is sin. I was like, wow. And is the commentary of Sanatana Goswami Pad in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. You can read details. 2.7.124. Then also I found another question, that what we are born with right now, you ever wonder what is role, what role I have, and how does it affect what we are born? I mean, affect in a sense our free will or choice we make. Sounds very interesting question, isn't it? That you are born with something. Yes, prarabdha karma, say you are born with a Mother Vishnupriya, long time back, I think she asked a wonderful question that some of the Prabhupada's writing about Matajis or something, that how to understand that in a way that because we are born in a different maybe culture, different growing up, upbringing is different, how to see. Well, very nicely, Rupa Goswami Pad explained. So, I mean, sorry, Sanatan Goswami Pad explained. I guess we love Rupa Goswami Pad too much. That's why just switching to Rupa Goswami Pad. But Sanatan Goswami Pad, very nicely he explained in that book. Prarabdha karma refers to the body and the mind. I never thought that we receive due to reaction from past. It does not refer to the way we use those resources. We always have a free will. Believe or not, today in the class, I don't think anyone here was there. No. Oh no, Sadhdev Prabhu was there. He's there. Okay, he was there in the morning class I gave. Maharaj was watching. He was sitting right, in front. It was very nice. Maharaj was guiding. If I go off track or on track or not, and then he was actually encouraging me. I love Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj. So Sanatana Goswami Pad says, expertise of the devotee is to translate every situation into a situation favorable for Krishna Bhakti. Can you remember this? This is important. So by our prarabdha karma, everybody understood prarabdha karma, right? Prarabdha karma is what? Can somebody tell me what is prarabdha karma? Refers to body and mind. Please make a note in your memory. Prarabdha karma does not refer to the soul, not you, the soul. It refers to the body and the mind you got right now at this moment in your life. So by prarabdha karma, we may get unfavorable situation sometime. But even within that, we can try to practice bhakti, Krishna consciousness. That is our free will. Everybody understand where your free will is? Okay. To what extent we can use our free will in that situation will depend on the, really I want Jishnu Prabhu to remember, on the association we have. How much free will you have? Depend on the, what did I say, Jishnu Prabhu?
On the association?
Yes. This is a very key point. If you have a quality devotee association, I mean, I pray for all of you and I beg also, always have a quality, good association of devotee. Then your free will actually manifests more. And bad association, you are bombarded by your mind and body. Free will goes down and down and down. You feel like, I'm helpless. I can't chant. I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed with my schoolwork, overwhelmed with my job, family. Your association is not good enough. If you have a good association who, again, has to understand your situation also, not just association of any, if you call Radhanath Maharaj, please help me how I can advance when I have to go to exam tomorrow and next 3 days. Well, that's not a really good question to him, unless you know him or something. So you have to see who cares for, who appreciate where you are, who cares for you. And then with that devotee who is also advanced in a sense, in a one word, good sadhana, very good sadhana. Every day practicing. Your free will expand. That's wonderful. Really, you will see you have a free will, so much choice you can make. So prarabdha karma refer to sinful reaction from which one is suffering at present. Whatever suffering we have, it cannot be changed. Try to understand. The body that we get, there is a famous verse, if you memorize that, it will answer. Gyani gyana juge kariya jatane brahmere sakshat kare. Brahma sakshatkar aprarabdha karma sampurna gyanate hare. কিন্তু ওহে নাম তপস্ফূর্তি হলে একান্তি জনের আর প্রারব্ধ or প্রারব্ধ কিছু নাহি থাকে বেদে গায় বারো বারো. This song, I mean, this explanation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation with Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary made it very complete. Complete. This is where I got this from Sanatana Goswami's idea. The different people have a different karma, prarabdha karma. You should not compare ever to another. Well, my friend is getting good grade, I'm not getting. That is not a good way of looking at it. It's good association, you can actually advance very quick. It is not that you have to compete with another person or something. It's the association. For an example, different people have a different cars to drive one place to another. One car may be not as good as another car. However, for the journey, we have no choice but to use our car only, isn't practically? However, efficient or inefficient it may be. Similarly, we all have different bodies. Some may have a healthy body, while some may have a diseased body. Similarly, different people also have a different mind with varying intellectual capacity. So prarabdha karma refers to the tools of resources we have. That is the body's capacity and mind's inclination all combined together. So ending this, that the prarabdha karma is something which we all have to go through. Everybody understand this till end of your life. But if you can chant one time pure name, all the bad reaction dissolves instantly. This is the conclusion. Now I'm going to, because of the time, I made a few questions, but one, there is a glorification of Bhagavatam. Maybe someday you all can recite. Sanatana Goswami Pad gives the best glorification to me about Bhagavatam. Every Acharya gave commentary. I have nothing against. But something, I mean, I should glorify. But Sanatana Goswami Pad gives something, touches my heart. For an example, you generally think Rupa Goswami Pad would do this, but Sanatana Goswami Pad gave a confidential pastimes of the coward boys of Vrindavan. Because today is also a journey to Vrindavan. Anybody remembers that I said in Vrindavan there is a 3 types of prem, 3 types of love of Godhead manifest. Jiva Goswami Pad mentioned. One is Vivek Shunya. You should remember. Vivek Shunya means they don't have a calculative mentality. Can you imagine who they are? The cows. They don't know what day is today. Krishna went to Mathura. They have no idea. They think Krishna will come. Krishna will come. And they meditate. They see Krishna coming in their heart. They play with Krishna. And then after some time they hear, oh, somebody say Krishna is not coming. So how? Oh, he will come. They never know that even Krishna went to Mathura. So these are called Vivek Shunya Prem, means they are not calculating. Then there is another called Vishambha Prem. They miss Krishna, but then they cry and they go in their room or somewhere hiding place. You know, when you miss your beloved, you go and hide from your parents or everybody else. They do that because originally that's where, and Krishna actually appear in their heart and take the devotee, go and play in the playground. So they don't miss as much. Sometimes they miss, but mostly they are with Krishna. Then the highest one is Utkantamai. You know, the Bengali, mostly are Bengali. Well, Mother Dandake, she's a French. Utkanta means, kanta means throat. Utkanta means about to come out. The life is about to exit from your body. You are so intense in separation from Krishna. Your life is about to exit from the body. Can you guess who they are? Srimati Radharani, Mother Jashoda, the gopis, even Nanda Baba. These are called Utkantamai. So you can divide the whole Vrindavan into 3 divisions by the love, the experience that they relate to Krishna. So Sanatana Goswami Pad, I'll give you one example. Sanatana Goswami Pad gives such a wonderful, it's called Dasami Tippani. Srila Prabhupada says, if you want to know 3 things, in 5th chapter, Adi Lila, chapter 5, in the purport, you will see Prabhupada writes, if you want to know devotee, devotion, and supreme object of devotion, Krishna, you must, Prabhupada write, you must read Sanatana Goswami Pad's this book. Anybody saw that? 5.36 in the purport. Prabhupada write, you must read Sanatana Goswami Pad's this book. So I have those copies in Sanskrit. Unfortunately, I don't have in English or Bengali, but in Sanskrit. But you can read. Sanskrit is not very difficult. You can grasp it a little bit. Sanatana Goswami Pad gives how these coward boys serve Krishna. So then the Krishna comes and Krishna's body is completely blissful 24 hours a day. It is not that ever a chance Krishna's body is not blissful. It's a condensed form of bliss. There's a verse he began with that I memorized. Nirdoso guna vigraha atmatantra nischeta gunescha hina anandam kara atra padar udaradi sagata svaveda vivarjita atma. Krishna's body is completely condensed form of bliss. But to experience, he further expand. So sometimes the coward boys, they feel like we want to serve him, some of the coward boys. All of a sudden, Yogamaya creates sweats on Krishna's body. Even though Krishna doesn't have a pores like ours. You know, our pores is for the filter, the sweat. But Krishna's body doesn't have a pores like that for a sweat. His body is only bliss, like a candy. Not candy, I mean, a mundane world. I don't know how to explain of bliss. So, Sanatana Goswami Pad says, Krishna is 24 hours a day, reciprocal. Like if you feel sometime depressed or some reason, something, or with your friend, you're not going along, pray to Krishna. Sanatana Goswami Pad urges, even sadhaka, you should pray to Krishna. Even though you think like a silly thing, how can I pray for my silliest, stupid thing I did with my friend? Pray to Krishna. Krishna wants to be part of you, their silly things, whatever you think. Sanatana Goswami Pad says, those coward boys, they pray for anything. And Krishna really reciprocate. So Krishna, his body gets sweat. Then the another group of boy thinks, we want to give him massage. Look at his body. His limbs like it become attractive. You know, when you see a young boy or girl, you feel attraction. They also feel attraction on Krishna's body. So attractive. So they give and touch his body, give massage, and they feel very satisfied. And Krishna lie down. But Krishna cannot fall asleep. Anybody knows how they put Krishna to sleep in the forest? They talk about, there's called Priyanarmasaka, Sanatana Goswami Pad writes. They come and they tell Krishna, you know, you are really expert of stealing the girl's clothes. Then Krishna looks at them and then he closes his eye and he meditates and they talk about what the girls talked about it. These are a specific group of boys. They're called Priyanarmasaka. They're not like common boys like Sridham or Vasudam, Stoko Krishna. They each boys. Then they talk about the girls talking about him. Then Krishna really starts falling asleep and he falls asleep. He snores. But snores just to confirm that he's very much enjoying their pastimes. Now you may think like, Prabhu, when somebody snores, he doesn't hear when somebody's talking outside. No, in Krishna's case, Sanatana Goswami Pad said, Krishna actually enjoys hearing and then he goes to sleep. So it's wonderful how Krishna and Sanatana Goswami Pad, another example. Sanatana Goswami Pad is one of the Manjari, you all know, Lavanga Manjari. He gives such a wonderful example, relate to our life. One thing only you need in life to develop, a incessant attachment to Krishna. Can you develop that deep attachment to Krishna? That's all, nothing else, just deep attachment. So Krishna says, Sanatana Goswami Pad says, there is a girl, you heard, Prabhupada put this in Nectar Devotion, pull in the girl. You all heard that story. But it was such a sweet. It relates to our life. This girl, she was doing sadhan bhajan in this material world. And I'm going to add, she was doing sadhan bhajan in New Orleans. This is my comment, is not a Sanatana Goswami path. Please don't misunderstand. I'm just adding it. Because New Orleans devotees are super, too good to me. They're like my mentors, all of them. So there, Sanatana Goswami says, this girl grow up in the material world with a developing attachment. She's listening here, there. And then she came to a point, she really wants to be with Krishna and nothing else. She became so intense before she died. The next birth, she took birth in Vrindavan, some universe in this world. Where that in that universe, that she went there, she took birth, but she's not within the Brajavasi group. You follow? You cannot just enter into Brajadham easily. So then she went outcast. Why the outcasts are there in Vrindavan? When Krishna kills the demon, do you know what happened to the demon's body? These are, well, sometime Aghasura is a special case. Krishna made a, like a, what you call, dry out playground. It was a long, they would play inside. But most of the demons are being chopped and taken by those outcasts. So they take birth outside the Vrindavan parameter. And they come. So Pulinda girl took birth there, came from New Orleans. Just imagine, this girl, one Gurukuli girl, developed a strong attachment to Krishna and she took birth in Vrindavan. And if you say where it's confirmed, Prabhupada in chapter 28 in Krishna book. Prabhupada write this, how this journey takes place. Beautiful. Then after you take birth there, so she, all of a sudden, she had no idea that she comes from New Orleans. A whole history is wiped out. She has a now, all of a sudden, she is like got married. She has a children. And she roams around because that's how they make their living, working for others, find some job or something, cut a piece of wood and sell as a firewood to the market, something like that. One time, she was walking by, and Prabhupada gave that story, that she was walking by, all of a sudden she saw a most attractive boy. So attractive. She never saw such a person can be so attractive. So instantly she fell in love with this Krishna. Now you may say, oh, how is possible? Because previous life she was, who remembers where she was from? Jishnu, where she's from?
New Orleans?
Yes, very good. I just want to make sure you're keeping track. So then her name is Pulinda. She is existing, but she already went there. Now you can find the other, all these Gurukuli boys and girls, they're all going there. You have to be in that line. So anyhow, then Prabhupada writes that she was trying to follow that where is this boy from? Where is it? Which house he lives? She instantly fell in love. And then as she came nearby, after Krishna moved away far, she saw Krishna's feet, lotus feet, everywhere he steps. There is a kumkum. Kumkum, red kumkum. Not from the Louis Bazaar or here. This is from the Krishna's feet. It's a different kumkum than Louis Bazaar's. So that kumkum, she touched it. This is where the key point. Prabhupada said she felt an ecstasy more than she had ever experienced with her husband or any other experience. She went completely crazy. I want that boy. I don't care. I will do anything to be with him. Now in Vedic culture, girl cannot be with a boy. She knows neither she's thinking he's God or Krishna. She just fell in love. At one point she came where she was like trying to distract the family members. So she said, oh, I'm going for wood collection. But actually she would come nearby where Krishna plays. Then one day she could not find, and her eagerness to see that boy, she went nearby Nanda Maharaj's house. from afar, she saw a lady touching Krishna's sweats, wiping Krishna's sweats, and dusting off Krishna's hair. Immediately she kneeled down and praying, "Oh God, if there is a God, I want to be that lady. I want to touch his body and wipe him." Everybody understanding? She is developing a service attitude, is the key to enter there. So she really prayed for this. But then after a little while, scenery is gone. That boy went in the home. Then next day, she went completely crazy. She said, "I want to see more. I want to see more. I cannot live my life without." Then she saw those coward boys playing and wrestling with Krishna. And she immediately kneeled down and praying, "Oh God, can I be a boy instead of this girl? I don't care. I don't care of this wife or mother. I want to be a boy. I want to be a boy." But of course, it is not possible, she knows. But she really desperately, so that she can wrestle with Krishna. This kind of attachment, strong. Then it became dark. The play is over. She went home, but her heart is pumping like, what should I do? How can I, what if I don't know where he lives? Then on the third day, she said, "That's it. Today I'm going to just go and fell at his feet. And I say, I am your from today. And I don't want to go back home or do anything." That day, Jogamaya created a scenery where Pulinda girls came by. And she came to a point where she saw Krishna all of a sudden. And Krishna tried to go from one kunja to another kunja. All of a sudden, she saw Krishna entered into a beautiful dark kunja. And she jumped in that kunja. When she jumped in the kunja, of course, she went little unconscious. There was Radharani and Krishna and Rupa Manjari. Now, can somebody tell me who wrote this whole journey? Who are we talking about? Who saw this journey? Sanatana Goswami Pad. Then Sanatana Goswami Pad prayed, "I want to become that girl. It is so easy to get Krishna." Sanatana Goswami Pad cried while he wrote this. And he even right that I was overwhelmed with tears. And he prayed, "I want to become that girl." How the sadhana. So we are in a right track. Can you see yourself entering into one day to Krishna's abode in that Radharani's kunja? Try to visualize. This is what Sanatana Goswami Pad's biggest contribution. Okay, I went already over the time. I'm sorry. And there's so many questions to be there. Is there any comment or reflection or question?
Prabhu, you said something about the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sanatana Goswami's. Can you quickly say that? I think you didn't complete that.
Sanatana Goswami, oh Krishna.
That what Srimad Bhagavatam's.
I have all those verses. You want me to send it to the WhatsApp group?
Is that the ones from Krishna's Tavalila?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's giving that, how did he come up with this? I'll send you this.
Okay. Jishti Prabhu has a question, I think.
Okay.
Prabhuji, my question was, what's the difference between, the rasa, the relationship, and the prem that you speak of?
Rasa and prema. Two subject matter. They are interrelated, but they are not same thing. One is, oh, how did I come to that? Wow. I'm seeing myself a giant body. Oh, okay. Because his Sadhdev Prabhu's computer is so big. We are practicing sadhan bhakti right now. What is the purpose of sadhan bhakti? To awaken bhava. Did you take the Bhakti Shastri course, Prabhu? No, you need to take it. Bhakti Shastri course, I remember we explained that. The purpose of sadhana bhakti is to awaken bhava. Then you leave this world. With this body, you cannot progress anymore. This body cannot handle prema. But the ray of prema, bhava, can handle. Then you take a birth where Krishna is performing lila in this universe. I mean, not in this universe, in the material world, some universes. And you enter there, you become like a Subhal's best friend. You have no idea that you come from a Texas, America. You'll completely forget about it, but you'll see that, oh, there's a wonderful boy, and that Subhal is talking to you all the time, said, you know, this boy, Nanda Maharaja's son, I love him, he's my buddy. I can't live without him, you know, I wish I could just spend whole day, night with him. He said, really, who is he? Can I see him? And you go and he introduce, and then you adapt. That at one point, Krishna will embrace you and accept you as his own friend. That is called Vastu Siddhi. Sadhan Siddha to Vastu Siddha. This is the transaction. This is actually, factually, and Prabhupada says in one purport, once Krishna accepts you as his own through a relationship, from that point, no more fall down. I like that. Very nice. Last part of the purport, Prabhupada. So then you enter there and you have now Sthai Bhav with a particular relationship with Krishna. The way Krishna talks, it's like a candy, tasty. The way Krishna look at you, you just want to like stare at him. He's so beautiful. Is more than billions of girls of this world. I don't mean like putting anybody down. Please don't take it the wrong way. It says like that no attraction can, because you are a young boy, naturally you are attracted to a young girl. I mean, it's natural. We don't have to hide. But you cannot compare attraction of Krishna to any girl or any scenery. You're talking about billion, unlimited. Scenery cannot give what Krishna's attraction is. So attractive. That time, that activity that you do, it's called Anubhava. Everybody got it? Bhava, then what you do with that inner feeling, the activities you do is called Anubhava. Then you have a Vibhava. Vibhava means Subhal. I like Subhal. He's a matchmaker. He gives information to Krishna. I want to follow him. And Krishna loves him. I want to follow him so I can act like him. So that's called Ashraya Alamban. And then you have the whole details, I'm just giving a little brief. And then you have two things prominent. When Krishna says, hey, we need to go there. Just the idea, and you want to like desperately relate to Subhal, and you're feeling happy to run to tell Subhal that you're already feeling happy, but then you see some goosebump coming, hair standing, you are sweating, you are like trembling. You don't try to tremble, you don't try to sweat, you don't try to perspiration. Sometimes when Krishna speaks, you're like stunned. Wow, how beautiful he is! Like you want to tell him, but you don't know what to tell him. But the way he speaks is like such a sweet. You feel like, oh, my heart is like completely nourished. You feel like a pillar. You know, pillar in a house. Don't move. You become like a pillar. Something you don't do or intentionally, but automatically happening in your body, these are called Sattvik Bhav. You don't intentionally perspiring or trembling or becoming pillar. You don't. These are called Sattvik Bhav. But something you do, like you want to say, thank you, Krishna. Oh, I love you. And you want to, these you do, these are called Anubhav. Everybody understand? Anubhav and Sattvik Bhav, they are different. Then the emotion feeling, that is 33. And if we do it, we'll end tomorrow if we start now 33 explanation, we'll end by tomorrow Mangalarti. But I don't think everybody is ready for that. So we'll discuss another day. So those things that you do with those component becomes rasa. Then you taste it. But prema means initial component. Everybody understood those points, right? And prema you have. Without prema, there is no rasa. Okay, we'll end here. Any other reflection? Is Mother Brinda there? She's hiding behind the screen.
Yeah.
Mother Brinda, what did you get today? Can you tell me some reflection?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and everyone else. I really liked the points you made in the beginning, that we should always appreciate, and even if we do become the best, we should always have someone to look out for us, because we need the right association. And also at the end, you also mentioned that the only way we can enter into Raj Leela is when we have the service attitude.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Mother Gaurangi, I took many points from you. I have here. See the notes? Oh, in this background, it doesn't, I cannot even see my own notes. Okay. What do you take?
No, the lecture was so good. I feel like the main points from the lecture I got was how much more I have to study. Like, you brought up so many different texts that and you described them as like, Sanatana Goswami's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and how he gives such intimate details. I don't think I'm qualified enough for that, but I think the whole lecture, you just pointed out so many different texts that I was not familiar with. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed.
And I'm sorry for that. You know why? Because I also used to say about Rupa Goswami Pad's life, you know, how Sanatana Goswami Pad's life, how was in jail. But I know everybody knows those, but the key point, what we can learn from those. But then I found so many details in other side that we hardly ever talk. So that's why I choose, okay, I'm going to bring those that not generally we discuss. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Gopal Radhe Prabhu.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Is Priya here, or she's not listening today? I thought I saw her. She's hiding?
He's here too.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Okay.
thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class, wonderful lecture, especially teaching us the mood of Rupa Goswami. You know, Srila Prabhupada says that this Krishna conscious movement is conducted under Sri Rupa Goswami, and that we are all Rupanugas. So thank you so much today for explaining us more deeply what the real mood of Rupa Goswami is, so that we can also follow on that footstep and try at least to, you know, try to follow what he followed in his own life. So thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. So we can end here?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I'll just quickly make an announcement. I'll quickly make an announcement. Tomorrow again, we will have a class in the evening. I hope Prabhuji will be able to reach Alachua by that time. And because that will be 1 hour earlier, Prabhu. It'll be back to your original timing. So I hope, like today, you don't get stuck and you get to leave New Orleans early morning so you can reach there, and then we can have a wonderful class. Tomorrow we'll be having a wonderful presentation as well by Anuradha, and that will be very, very wonderful. And is Anandini Mataji still here? Is that her with the iPhone?
Yes, Prabhu. I'm sorry
Yes,
it kicked me.
Mataji. Mataji, if you can just, give our thanks to Pran Govinda Prabhu on behalf of ISKCON New Orleans, that would be really wonderful. Anandri Mataji is Gaurangi's mother. Also, she was a
Oh,
teacher, one of the teachers in the
yes, yes, I
classical
remember.
course.
I remember.
Yes,
Now I put the puzzle.
yes.
Oh,
Okay, Mataji, thank you. Just take over, Haribo.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. You are giving us such nectar. I must apologize. I have to make some time to listen to all your classes. Thankfully, it's on YouTube, so I will. It's just my job constraints are so much that I barely have too much of time, but on behalf of all the devotees. And I should say, I was just telling my husband this evening that you are doing such a fantastic job, even though you are so far away in Alachua, engaging the youth. And my sincere request is, please, if you can, please do more presentations like this, where you engage them, because even though they are so busy doing their studying, when you give them this wonderful service, I find that they somehow or the other, through with your mercy, they make the time. They make the time. And speaking on behalf of Gorangi, she has been so excited the last couple of days, researching, reading, and it's such a joy as parents to see our children being so involved. I can speak on behalf of all the other children's parents. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Prabhuji. Even though you are in Alachua, thank you so very much. And my sincere request is, please don't let this be the last. Our children are constantly going to be in college and keep studying, but can you please, like this, always engage them? You are our mentor here in New Orleans. You can keep mentoring all of us, adults included, and the children. So
so
on behalf of everyone, thank you so much. And it was so nice having you in New Orleans. Please come more often.
thank
Come
you,
more
Mother.
often and
I would
bless us
request
with
you.
your.
I would request you also. You have to pray for me and bless me.
Prabhu, you have the blessings of all the devotees. We are just so small devotees here in New Orleans. We need your association. So please, like this, how you came this weekend, please, if you can come throughout the year, we will really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank
Right.
you.
So you end here, or Mother Vishnu Priya, she is hiding. You wanted to say something? Nothing. Nothing taken from today's class. I'm now sad. No, I'm not, just
No,
kidding.
Prabhu, I'm sorry. Hare Krishna. Um, I did come in and out, so I heard a few things, and thank you so much for giving your time.
Wonderful.
Some of the points that I heard in between were when you were talking about prarabdha and how it's connected to mind and body. So it took me back to the days of Bhakti Shastri. So I was just reminiscing your classes of Nectar of Devotion and how you were talking about the seed and the papa and all of the points. So I was just really missing those classes. So thank you for bringing those back.
Wonderful. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I couldn't be there the whole time, but
That's okay. I know. I went to one devotee's house. It took like almost, I went to Mother Krishna Kanti Gopi's house. It took like almost like so many hours just to be there in one house. So it's like that. But devotees in New Orleans, I just don't want Jishnu to be envious, but it's okay. He can be envious. I mean, literally, the devotees in New Orleans are from Vaikuntha to me. You all are very special. So my only duty is that if I can serve you all, some or other, stick together in the ISKCON movement and go forward to spiritual world, then will be wonderful. Because I'll be dead. Most of the senior devotee will be dead, and you all have to expand ISKCON. Yes? Can you shake your head, Mother Brinda? Yes, you're going to preach. Your
Yes.
parents made only you and her. Now you have to make 20 more, at least 30 more. 40 more, 100 more, 1,000 more. It's possible. Everything is possible by the grace.
Yeah.
So let's end here.
Thank you, Prabhu. So tomorrow again we'll meet 6 o'clock. Those who were not able to catch up or would like to catch up later, the link will be on. It's on YouTube at our ISKCON New Orleans channel. Is that right, Vishnupriya? ISKCON New Orleans channel. Yes,
Yes,
ISKCON New Orleans
yes.
channel. You can go and you can watch all the live videos, video recordings of all. And tomorrow we'll be starting Antya Leela. So let us offer our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire fulfilling trees, who can fulfill all desires.
Kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, New Orleans devotee ki, and Texas devotee also, I'm sorry, and Alachua devotee. Mother Danda Kesh is there, she is senior mother to me. So, Anantakoti Srila Prabhupada's Anantakoti Vaishnava Brinda ki jai. Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.